All right. Well, I'm here with Shamal Asnani of Fitness Taxes and Asnani CPA. Nice to meet you. Tell us what you do and tell us what you guys are all about here.
Yeah, no. So my name is Shamal. I run a CPA firm out here in Hayward, California. It's called Asnani CPA. We started our firm just a little over 4 years ago. And the way it kind of started was I was working with clients that are, kind of part of the same role that I'm very passionate about, which is the fitness industry. Over the last 10 years or so, I've been involved as a competitive powerlifter, and just, very, very passionate about strength training, whether that's, powerlifting, bodybuilding, and kind of just anything that falls in that world. And so when we had started our CPA firm, many of our clients, just naturally kind of came from that same sector. And we decided, we have a good niche here. It's a niche that not a lot of other CPAs really service. And so we decided to spin that off into fitness taxes. And so that's kind of where we're at today.
Now, these aren't your typical fitness professionals. It's not necessarily your typical trainer down the road. These are specifically coaches in this strength industry or powerlifting industry. Tell us exactly who it is that you end up working with and who's your core clientele.
Yeah, no, it's funny, right? Because when I tell people that I work for clients in the fitness industry, automatically they think of, just a personal trainer or something like that. But when you actually start to really look into who they all are, you get yourself really deep into this rabbit hole and find yourself part of, essentially a huge subculture. A lot of the coaches that we work with, they do have, some in-person work that they do, but they essentially function either as an online coach or more as what I call like a fitness consultant, right? So they work with, whether it's a high-level athlete or even, some intermediates or even some beginners. But what they're doing is it's not like you're just paying them for a training session. You go home and then, see you next time I'm here to work out. They're writing out these workout routines or programs that they provide their clients. They're helping their clients kind of figure out how to implement their lifestyle with their workout routine and their overall fitness goals, whether they want to be a competitive powerlifter and they want to go on a platform and, possibly, take a regional or national title, or, whether it's someone that wants to improve their physique and maybe step on stage and do a bodybuilding show. These coaches are really helping them almost as consultants to kind of just navigate that entire process. And that's something that I kind of took and, I really, really like that approach. And I try to basically apply that to how we do our accounting business. We talk to the coaches that we work with, on a pretty regular basis, right? Whether it's weekly or monthly, some quarterlies. And we basically try to take a look at their overall life, right? See what their overall life goals are. Do you want to buy a house, right? Do you need to, finance something, or, what's kind of going on there? And then we say, okay, well, let's see where the business is at. Let's run the bookkeeping for your business. Let's provide you your financial reports so that you know how the business is doing financially. And let's also provide you a tax plan along with that, so that the taxes aren't, some ghost number that you only deal with once a year. Instead, it's a number that you can actually, make strategic moves around and plan around and, just be well informed. And so we really just try to take that same approach that they do, and just apply it on the financial side.
That's great. So you're helping them reduce their taxes by implementing a really strong, aggressive tax plan, because there's a great deal that people can do to actually mitigate their taxes within this realm, right? And then you're also doing their taxes and kind of providing accounting and payroll services. Help me understand what that all looks like.
Yeah, so a lot of the services that we're providing, right, it's basically financial infrastructure, right? So we do the bookkeeping, we help them manage payroll for themselves, we help them set up their companies, right? So perhaps they're at a level where it makes sense to actually become an S corporation, and we help them stay compliant with all the S corporation, regulations that are out there. They have to, stay compliant with their, respective Secretary of State. And there's a lot of, compliance when it comes to that. A lot of that's just to basically help them save time because, I cannot tell you how many times I've worked with, a coach or, someone else kind of in the industry that, they are great at their job, right? They are an A+, powerlifting coach or an A+ bodybuilding coach. And, you could trust them with your life, right? But then when it comes to actually managing the business side of things, you know, they're kind of just going on the fly and, you know, being more reactive than proactive, right? And so what we're trying to do is set up infrastructure so that everything is there in place and they can just say, hey, look, I know where my finances are at. I know where, you know, how much I'm going to owe in taxes, but more importantly, I have more time on my hands so that I could either, you know, maybe relax and wind down and, you know, just service my clients better so that I have a fresher head, or I can go out and increase my sales now because I'm not spending, you know, so many hours in the week just trying to organize this whole accounting aspect of my business.
Yeah. And this is an industry that you love. You and Rachel are just passionate about this industry. Talk to me a little bit about your fitness background and what is it that gets you so excited about working in this sector?
Yeah, I think the big term for me, it's progress, right? That was the thing that got me essentially addicted to this industry. You know, I was that skinny 120-pound kid that walked into the gym as an 18-year-old and I could, you know, barely bench press a barbell, honestly, like, you know, without a spotter. You know, it would just be very, very difficult. And just going from that level to, you know, where I'm at now, and you know, I definitely not the top powerlifter in the world or anything like that, right? But I'd like to think I'm at least, you know, somewhat okay at this sport now. So, you know, I've done about, you know, 6 powerlifting competitions myself. Rachel has done about 10 herself as well. And just going from where we started to where we're at now, right? And seeing the progression in our strength, our physique, everything like that. It was just a very addicting process because, you know, you could see the results. And it was a very similar thing or a very similar approach that I took to the way I do finances, right? You know, maybe you're getting a personal best on your sales, right? Or maybe you're getting a personal best on how much your, you know, net profit is after you're taking, you know, all your expenses into account for. And just kind of looking at that and saying, okay, what do I need to do to get my business to the next level? Or what do I need to do to keep my business afloat at this level, but save time on the back end, right? And just optimizing efficiency essentially, right, for the business. So it's this very similar approach, even though there are 2 different areas that might not exactly seem like they have that much in common at first glance.
And what's the telltale sign? What are some of the signs that it's time to start talking with someone like you? Like at what point are they in their business? You know, a lot of people be like, oh, I don't know, I just kind of do this part-time. You know, you're making 10, 12,000 a year, or, you know, then you start making 50, 60, 70,000 a year. Things get a little bit more serious. Talk to me about, you know, some of the stages of clients that you often see.
Yeah. And I mean, I can only speak to myself, so I don't know how other CPAs approach this or anything like that. But honestly, anytime I get asked this question, I just tell people, you're safer contacting me sooner than later. And I'll tell you if you need my help or not. Right. The least you can do is just, you know, slide into my DMs on an Instagram message and just say, hey, I'm starting a coaching business. What do I need to know about taxes? Right. And, you know, just get a rough idea of what you need to know. In terms of when it's actually a good time to probably jump on us for like a monthly type service, and, you know, get the whole infrastructure in place, I usually recommend about, you know, somewhere between $25,000 to $30,000 in sales is probably a good area to be in. Just because at that point, and this obviously depends on what state you're into as well, but at that point, you know, that's when the taxes do kind of kick in. And one thing people learn very quickly is that $30,000 or taxes on $30,000 of business income is very, very different than $30,000 or taxes on $30,000 in just, you know, employment wages. So that's usually a good time to probably talk to us about, you know, some type of engagement or just getting some type of infrastructure set up for yourselves.
Absolutely. If you didn't know, while we're talking, I'm going through your Instagram and showing everybody what are your favorite movements? You kind of a squat guy? Are you what are your favorite lifts?
So for context, I'm 5'8" and I compete at a 74 or 75 kilograms, which is about 163 or 165 pounds. Just depends on the federation that I compete in. I'm a very, very lanky guy, man. So, you know, I am, like I said, I'm 5'8", Rachel's 5'2", but if we both sit down, there she is. If we both sit down, we're actually the exact same height, which is hilarious. But I have very, very long legs. I have very, very long arms. So I am naturally just built to deadlift. So it's funny, a lot of times, in the fitness world, you'll just kind of hear that deadlifts are like the hardest lift on you and everything like that, where I'm pretty much always good and ready to deadlift. Whereas the bench press hasn't exactly been the friendliest lift to me. It has been one that I've definitely had to put in some work to even get that to a somewhat respectable level. So yeah, if you were to ask me my favorite lift, definitely deadlifts.
That's great. That's great. So if someone's a coach out there and they're thinking of connecting with you, just talk to me about the process that you usually go through. How do they actually do business with you?
Yeah. So, I mean, the easiest way, right? Leave an inquiry on the website, and, just kind of let us know what it is that you're kind of looking for, or what, your current status is in your business, right? Like, how long have you been in business for? What's your current setup, et cetera. Once we kind of get the conversation going, we take a look at, how are they actually set up, right? So the very first thing, we're usually telling our coaches that work with us is you need to stop being a sole proprietor. The taxes are not in your favor when you're a sole proprietor. We need to probably look at either becoming a corporation or S corporation, and just becoming much more tax efficient from there. Usually when coaches start with us, we have an onboarding process. It lasts anywhere between 6 to 8 weeks. So essentially we give them, the same way they would write out a program or a workout routine for one of their clients, we're basically writing out a program or a financial routine, for them, right? And saying, look, here's what we need to do in week 1, right? And then, by week 2, we're going to the bank, we're setting up business checking accounts. By week 3, we're sending forms to the IRS, week 4, and it's an entire layout essentially. And what we're doing is we're basically, their financial spotter, right? We're telling them, look, at the end of the day, you're the one that has to put, pen to paper and sign off on all these things, but we're going to be there right next to you, giving you that assurance that, hey, is this thing that I'm putting a signature on going to actually help me? And we're going to tell you, yeah, this is how it's going to help you.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's great. So, I think that fitnesstaxes.com is where they can learn a little bit more about this specifically. And then you've got Asnani CPA, which is just you're still one organization kind of helping both, but you've been doing this for a while too, right? I mean, talk to me about how many tax returns have you been doing over the last couple of years?
Oh, geez. I think over the last couple of years, since we started the business, I'm pretty sure we must have hit 500 in total after this year. But what's kind of interesting about us is that, we're not a just churn and burn kind of tax firm, right? We don't just take on, 500 clients and just get the tax returns out of there. We're very much about actually having the relationship with the client. And so we try to work with, a specific number of clients and take them on from a monthly basis. And so that by the time tax season rolls around, it's not a situation of, okay, let's get all your documents together and, hurry up and hopefully we can get this tax return filed in time. And it's more of a, we've been doing the accounting and tax planning for you year round. At this point, we just got to, prep the tax forms itself and just send it to the IRS and your state and get this thing done with. How much taxes do you owe? Nothing. How much is your refund? Nothing, right? Why? Because we took care of that the entire year, right? Our goal isn't, I know oftentimes, accounting firms will promote themselves as, we can maximize your refund and everything like that, which is great. If you're under employment wages and you're maximizing your refund, you can make a case for why that is somewhat efficient. I would probably go in the other direction of it. But if you're a business owner, you really aren't looking for a giant refund or a giant tax bill. You're just trying to turn taxes into an ordinary course of business that's automatically already taken care of.
Oh, that's great. So fitnesstaxes.com, talk to us a little bit about what's your Instagram handle again?
Yeah, so my personal Instagram handle is shamal.asnani. So just my first and last name. And then the business page is at Asnani CPA. So either one works for me. You can contact me on either one. I'm pretty active on both of them. If you want to see my lifts or anything like that, the personal page is probably the better one, just so you can be assured that your CPA does do a little bit of lifting here and there. And the Asnani CPA page is something that we've used to put out some more longer posts, just that kind of inform you on some different tax things that are going on. And so that's kind of a good way to stay updated on anything going on in that whole world.
Absolutely. Well, always a pleasure, Shamal. Looking forward to it, and always exciting to see how you help your clients out. So take care.
Appreciate it.